everyone, my name is Sarah, and as part of the library staff, I'm going to be reviewing a book of my choice for a young adult book talk today. Book in question, I chose A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah Maas, the first in a series of its namesake. It's directed towards teens, I'd say 16 plus, and it is incredible if you're looking for a good read filled with romance, fantasy, and quite a bit of paranormal supernatural elements. It's all based in Fae and the rule of the High Lords and magic. It is incredible. Now, I chose Sarah Maas because she's also very popular for a series known as The Throne of Glass, so I might be reviewing that later too if she turns out to be a very popular author. I've never read her before. I wanted to be completely impartial, and I gotta say, I'm very impressed. Her books were on my to-read list for quite a while. I just haven't had the time, so I'm really glad I got the opportunity. I would say that it's honestly probably in one of my top 10s now. It took me about a week to finish it, and only because I did not want to rush. I wanted to be able to give a really good, honest review, but it was really hard. I really loved it. The characters are incredibly well made. They feel human, not fictional at all, and it's really hard to leave characters behind that feel like people. So this is going to be a book that I'm sitting on for quite a while. It's going to take me a bit to move past it. Luckily, there are more, so I'll probably start reading the sequel, A Court of Mist and Fury, I believe it's called, very soon. Now, to begin, we start with a 19-year-old huntress, as the book describes her, named Feyre, who is basically the only last resort her family had from becoming completely destitute after a string of her father's broken business deals. She hunts in the woods to make sure that her family is fed and well taken care of, and it's all very strongly based on a tie to her late mother that she promised on her deathbed that she would look after them. And it's very realistic, very harsh and gritty, the description of which the conditions her family lives. I really appreciated it, not sugar-coated at all. And she lives in a world where the entirety of the mortal realm is taught to fear the Fae. Mortals are taught all the way from childhood up to adulthood that the Fae are incredibly powerful, to be respected, and to be, above all, feared. Now, Feyre doesn't exactly have time to worry about the Fae. She's more concerned about keeping food on the table for her family, her two sisters and her father. And when she goes out to hunt for a meal for them, she ends up killing a wolf. Normally, it would feed her family for weeks to come, and she's able to sell the pelt for quite a bit in town. What she does not realize in the end is that the wolf has actually turned out to be a Fae in disguise, and by killing him, she has broken a decades-long treaty between the mortal realm and the Fae. In order to make peace with it, a Fae drags her from the mortal realm and demands that he becomes her charge, and she must live in Prythian, which is the Fae realm. She goes to spare her family, and what originally becomes a process of her trying to escape the realm to get back to her family actually turns into her getting to explore a whole new world that she had been only taught to fear her entire life. It's not only a really great coming of understanding and compassion on her end, but she also learns to understand exactly what the Fae live and how their society works. And turns out the Fae that caught her is actually a man named Tamlin, who is a High Lord of his estate. She has to learn to live with him in his court, and slowly, very slowly, they learn to understand one another. She learns that he's in a very particular place of power, struggles to maintain the control of his lands after a series of events occur, which I won't mention because spoilers. She comes to understand herself now that she no longer lives based upon the need to take care of her family. She comes to terms with her own wants and needs and her own interests and hobbies, which is really great. I love how the author Maas actually portrays her in that sense. She lived for so long bound by duty to watch over her family, and for the first time in a very long time, she has the freedom to choose what she wants to do with her life. She may be held in Prythian by the Fae, but she actually has the freedom for the first time, ironically, in this world where she thought she was going to be held prisoner, to decide who she is. And as she grows closer to Tamlin, the fae that brought her here, she learns all about the struggles that are going on in Fae's land, in Prythian, a series of dark characters working just beneath the surface, slithering in the dark, all kinds of power plays being made, and she realizes that Tamlin is not the cold-hearted fae that she had always thought fae were supposed to be. By working together and growing closer, they work to potentially free the courts, the winter, autumn, spring, and summer courts, from those who are working behind the scenes. And I love, probably my favorite thing about this is the descriptions of the different courts. There are quite a few. I won't name them all because, again, spoilers, you'll have to read the book. But I would say that it feels very genuine. It's a very easy landscape to believe. It's worked very hard to be very rich and realistic. And I would definitely say Tamlin is also probably my favorite character in the whole book. Feyre is a very close second. I would definitely think that anyone who wanted a good book with lots of mystery and adventure and quite a bit of action, honestly, too, would definitely enjoy this series. I would definitely say it is for 16+. There is violence, a bit of graphic content, and language, but I think anyone over 16 could enjoy this book. It's not just a young adult book. I can definitely see an older audience definitely enjoying it as well. I myself sped through it. I'm very excited there's more. The ending, I will not spoil, only made me want to read the sequel, and I believe there's a third as well. I believe it's a trilogy, even more than that. So if you're looking for something good to read right around now that will absorb you completely into a brand new universe, I would definitely recommend A Court of Thorns and Roses. And if you are if you are a fan of A Throne of Glass, which is Sarah J. Maas's other series, of course you're going to love this one. It is phenomenal. Yeah, I'm looking forward to starting on the next one. And if anyone has any questions, please let us know. I'll see you for my next review. Bye.